Should we treat criminals? Let's explore a hypothetical situation.
Two people need the same treatment, but there aren't enough resources for both. One found guilty on a murder charge, the other a charity worker who's participated in aid missions to countries experiencing famine. You let yourself discriminate against one to save the other.
The charity worker is an asset to our society who has saved lives. However, the murderer has taken a valuable life away.
You come to the conclusion to save the charity worker first, over the person with the murder charge, but then you're given more information.
It is found that the murderer had killed their spouse out of self-defense after years of domestic abuse, physically and emotionally, having visited the hospital multiple times with serious injuries.
They'd contacted local authorities and police on various occasions, but with no luck. Then, one day, they were too beaten to within an inch of their life. They had no choice but to grab the nearest weapon and murder their partner. It was the only way to survive.
Meanwhile, the charity worker had embezzled funds from the organization they work for, taking resources from famine-stricken countries, endangering the lives of starving children.
Given this context, how do we act when teaching criminals? It's not possible to know everything about an individual, nor is it fair to let these be factors in who receives treatments. The NHS is a body, not an entity which can discriminate on any level except based on clinical needs. Any other factors can't decide whether or not the individual receives treatment. NHS England has a limited budget set by taxes, meaning that we need to decide whether expensive treatments really are a priority.
It is for these reasons that the NHS can't say that it will or will not treat criminals. It must take individuals as what they are, individuals, and can't take into account the actions of that person.
A doctor should never be judgmental or discriminatory, and a decision would only be made after consulting with senior doctors, the hospital ethical committees, and the legal team. Responsibility for any decision is shared among the multidisciplinary team, as doctors work in teams, not in isolation.
In our current society, the NHS is faced with issues surrounding its funding and availability of resources. The target rate for an ambulance to arrive after an emergency has occurred is estimated to be 18 minutes. However, currently, the average wait time is closer to 50 minutes, a shocking 2.5 times longer than expected. Furthermore, 1 in 12 A&E patients are forced to wait over 12 hours to reach a hospital bed, which has increased by 6 times in the past year. The unfortunate truth is that the demands on this national healthcare system is rising to a level where patients are more likely to be harmed than receive the proper help they need.
The conclusion of the law on this subject, as well as that of the health watchdog, is that prisoners should be treated equally to the rest of the population, with no discrimination between British citizens when it comes to accessing healthcare and treatments. NHS Primary Care Trusts commissioned healthcare for prisoners from 2006. When it was set up in 2013, the responsibility for prisons in England was transferred to NHS England.
If a murderer's life had been saved by a doctor and they then go on to commit the same crime again, there should be no fault attached to the medical professional who saved their life, even if 2 lives have been taken by that one individual. Although British law protects the healthcare rights of a criminal, in Iran these rights are put at risk and allow for the denial of healthcare to a prisoner.
Health can't be used as a form of punishment, and this is where the law comes into play. The British justice system works to champion British values of democracy, rule of law, respect, tolerance, and individual liberty, and it is for those reasons that our health authority, like most others in the world, prohibits the refusal of treatment of a criminal on the grounds of their crime, as it is the responsibility of the justice system and law, not a medical professional, to help this person to not reoffend.
And this is where there must be a clear line: the ethics between being a doctor and playing God, and the legal repercussions founded on these ethics between being a doctor and being a judge.